Hello?
Hello?
Oh, there we are. I was worried you'd been sitting in this call with me. I hadn't heard anything.
Am I casting people like way better than me?
Yes.
Excellent.
This is Premier Team.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Um, you might have to dip and cast off of... If you can cast off of me or OPGG, we'll see what happens though. Because they have a coach, we have a coach, and then we're the 2 spectator slots. So we'll see if they have trouble moving around.
I mean, if I was the last to join, it might be alright. Actually, if there's an open spec slot, I should just be able to spectate off of you in client.
These are... It's a tournament code, so you should be fine to spectate off of OPGG if you need to.
Okay.
Or me, or whoever. Because, yeah, the only way this works is if our support is the last person to join the lobby, because they're all here.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're not, but that's okay. We do be waiting for a quarter, apparently.
Excellent.
Which is just typical hoarder behavior.
Average hoarder experience.
I don't like hovering over the Aegis one, and it just says that there's like 5 random profile pictures plus 99 people in voice channels. There's a couple of people playing right now, I guess.
An amount, to be sure. Oh, apparently like all of Aegis is playing right now.
Yeah, I was gonna
Or
say,
all of the Gold League is. I mean, Scram's team is missing one. Their game has to start soon then.
yeah, the Gold League and this league, the Uncapped League, are at the same time, I'm pretty sure. Because they're both Friday at 7. And I think the Silver League is as well. This is just the happening time for Aegis.
I suppose so.
Alright, we got 5 people. Or 4 people in here. Oh, I haven't like announced this. I haven't done anything. Alright, here we go. What is your name in here now? Jesus Christ. We go gym still? Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's still We Go Gym, yeah. Oh, let's go find out how dead my bracket is. I haven't even checked yet.
I'm tied for 2nd, although I think there's a game or 2 that's ended since I last checked, so there's a draft link for you. Oh,
Thank you.
I didn't. Alright, well. We'll see if we can get this done in like 3 seconds. I didn't download their logo. I haven't updated the scoreboard. You know, all the production stuff. The high production value that we've come to expect on this stream.
Oh, things are going quite poorly. I'm in 6th.
At least you're not sane.
Get bodied, math guy.
Oh, this is quite a logo.
Mathematically superior team. All signs point to them winning.
Alright. I'm very excited for this Planetary Collision esports logo to be on stream.
I'm rapidly approaching nice.
Oh. Alright. Well, top of the morning to ye lads and lasses. It's a special St. Patrick's Day version of Metal Sticks Gaming. I'm Leprechaun Maris, and I have wee little Oath as my co-caster. I'm not doing the voice anymore.
No, keep it up. I was enjoying it.
No.
This is a hell of a logo, and quite a few interesting bands. No Master Yi.
Yeah, so we haven't gotten to see Sexhaver Simon play his Master Yi or his Talon yet. And those are banned every single game, pretty much. They let Master Yi through, but wasn't picked by RotM in Game 2 last week.
And there's the Talon.
There's the Talon. So, we're off to the races, as it were. Unfortunately, don't get to see either of those champions, but hopefully we'll get to see some fun things happen on the Rift. Return of the Middle Sticks Premier's 2-1. Planetary Collision Esports also 2-1. I believe both won their first group stage match as well. So should be a good game. The rank discrepancy is a little high. But we'll see where we're at with that. I hope that my co-caster will be able to watch the game with me. That would be a big positive. No Yumi. Excellent.
Ideal scenario.
And the
remove
first
Cat,
pick Caitlyn. Yeah.
Yes, excellent. I so far have no notes. Unfortunately, for being the de facto analyst, I know actually next to nothing about either of these teams, including ours. So I'll be reacting as candidly as possible to everything I see. Planetary Collision's gonna have to lock something in here, and it's gonna be J4. I don't like this character right now.
Somewhere Lexus is weeping at the first pick Jarvan with the 4th.
Yeah.
Ah yes, yep. Jarvan the 5th is about to be born. I hope that meme isn't lost on every single person, but here we go. Second pick for PCE, probably an AD support, and they're gonna lock in Thresh, which isn't super fun into Caitlyn right now, but that's what BB Nuna wants.
So I don't claim to be the most knowledgeable on the like competitive meta at the moment, but I don't see a single interesting pick so far, and it's gonna remain uninteresting if this Lux or Morgana gets locked in here. We're just getting the funny lane experience, and it is the Lux.
Yeah, I still don't feel like we've necessarily. I guess with Yumi ban, you're not looking at Zeri Yumi, but I feel like that's just the de facto best lane right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So then after that, you're left like Caitlyn is a lane bully for Paragon, which makes sense.
Caitlyn Lux, Lucian Nami still pretty decent.
And Sexhaver Simon is going to grab the Graves, which I know is popular on this patch. I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but
It's really nice into picks like Jarvan because you can go the Bruiser Gore Drinker Graves build if you want to, and that's very effective. Hey, I know that character. That's a very popular ADC right now. Varus is gonna round out the first 3 for PCE, and we'll get into the second round of bans.
Is Varus Thresh playable?
Um,
Caitlyn Lux?
No,
Okay.
not really. No, but if you don't care about that, then it's actually a very good lane. in a vacuum, it's great, right?
Yeah, I think they synergize pretty well. You have the Lantern to help the immobile Varus. Yeah, I just don't think you get to stand in lane against Caitlyn Lux, and that might be a problem that we'll get to see. Already a lot of range for RotM, so I'm curious if they're going to pick like a full ranged or a pseudo full ranged comp where they're just going to look to poke and set up at objectives, or if we're actually going to see some hard engage or some sort of gameplay here from our solo lane picks.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Talia off the table, no Syndra, so we are losing some of the like mid-range burst mages out of the. I mean, actual artillery mages have kind of fallen by the wayside, especially as a mid pick. You don't really see Ziggs or Xerath anymore unless they're going APC or support. No Cassante, also, which is great because I never actually learned what that character does.
I know that he goes all out, and that's about all I got.
Yeah, I tried playing it a couple of times. Doesn't really vibe.
I've rolled it in ARAMs twice, and they were both the single worst experiences of my life. And I don't think it's because I'm bad at the character, but just because of the teams that we're against. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trash at it. We'll have to get a bigger sample size. Victor also filling that niche, and they're going to pick away Ari. So really going down on that champion pool priority for Max. Honestly, that's most of what we've seen him play. And now this might be something a little special for Max coming out.
I do like Sylas a lot here because of just the utility of stealing Ari ult and putting it on arguably a much better AP assassin.
Yeah, and that'll get locked in. So I don't think we've seen Max's Sylas, so I'm actually kind of curious about that one. And it gives them some range or some melee frontline ideas brewing. And what do you pair that with for Hoarder? Jax are his most played that we've seen. Will we go that route? Will we see something else?
A lot with what we were wondering if we were going to get like a pseudo full range lineup. We're about as close to that as I think we can reasonably ask for not compromising team fight.
Yeah,
you got Silas Graves, who are surprisingly decent frontliners for not really being frontliners.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch the way RotM wants to pick fights in particular. If you're just kind of grouping up for objectives, you play the poke game a little bit. Oh, the Irelia is a decent counter into the Jace.
Yeah, having had recent experience with this lane, I hate it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Jace doesn't really get to play around a whole lot.
Yeah, definitely a really interesting lock-in for Planetary Collision. In case you're wondering, we actually had room in the lobby for you, and I kicked you for no reason. I just wanted you to know that before we go in here.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I feel like it's a good time for me to reveal the fact that I memorized the tournament code, and I'll just re-enter it by hand before the game starts. That's not happening, by the way.
Well, we're going to get readied up for a second draft before too long. Yeah, again, I'm kind of curious how RotM wants to play objectives. If you walk up to a dragon or a baron, you don't have that big go button unless Sylas gets really frisky, which means he's probably dead. So you don't really want to do that. It's more of a, you just want to face the other team across that gap at dragon and just poke them to death and make sure that they can't come in and fight you. And it'll be...
Yeah, I mean, you've got good tools for that. Like, it's not so much, I think, for RotM how they pick fights versus how they pick champions, because in fights, it is kind of difficult to stop PCE from just locking down 1 or 2 priority targets, and then you're not left in a great scenario.
Still waiting for RotM to ready up for second draft for some reason. So that's just happening. Not really sure what's going on.
Well, see, I think in fact the bit is that it's not happening because nothing's happening.
We're just gonna sit here in purgatory in between the 2 drafts forever. It's a personal hell of mine, honestly.
Yeah, it seems reasonable.
As much as breaking out my Irish accent was also a personal hell of mine.
Honestly, didn't know you had one. Was relatively impressed.
I was. Made that up in the car on the way home from work today. Anyway, shout out to Clayton. He's a really terrible trainer. Yeah. Still waiting. I don't know what we're waiting on exactly.
I think for me, it wasn't the training experience. I got that done about like the first 2 days or so of the week, and I'm waiting on IT to give me my computer so I can actually start working.
Oh.
On the upside, I've finished like a book and a half at work in the past 3 days, which is great.
Yeah, that does seem worthwhile. Alright, we're finally into second draft. There it is on the screen. So that you can follow along with the picks that have already happened. It's a very exciting time here in Return of the Middlesticks land.
It is not on my screen. Now it's on my screen. Let's go. My stream might be lagging. Might want to reset that. Especially if I'm going to end up casting off of it. That would be unfortunate.
You shouldn't have to. I think as long as you type someone into OPGG, you should be able to pull them out.
Should. Yep.
Or you can cast off of me. And if
I'll
that
let you know.
If that doesn't work for next game, I'll have somebody add you. Although I don't think I actually have... Weirdly, I think the one person I had added was Caspian, who was the ADC. And we're swapping ADCs. So, I might need to find somebody else to add me. Anyway, RotM March Madness is going on as we do. You said you're not busted just yet?
Not entirely. I'm at, I think 140 points. I'm missing some of the bigger games, but my my Alabama victory bracket is still alive.
I also have an Alabama victory bracket, so...
It seemed appropriate.
Ooh, we have...
I originally had Furman over Virginia, which was disappointing because that would have been a really cool bragging points call.
I got Pitt, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Nice.
I actually went for the double upset there and had Kennesaw State as well, but didn't get that one. Almost hit.
I also, I lost the Duke gamble this year. They actually didn't lose round 1 for once, so...
I also made the Duke gamble.
It's bad Oral Roberts experience.
You have to pick... I don't know, my personal philosophy, you just like go chalk and then like pick 3 to 4 to call your shot on. And sometimes you hit and you look like a genius, and most of the time you don't, but then you're still alive for the most part usually.
I just get super bored going chalk for everything, and so like I'll do it for the 2 top regions, and then I'll scroll down to the second half of the bracket and I'll be like, screw it, let's just hit buttons. That sounds fun. Oh, this number's slightly larger, that's worse, let's pick that one.
Yeah, I also think it's weird we only had 2 KU pickers. Normally everyone just picks KU and isn't original, because a lot of people are from Kansas City area.
Yeah, I legitimately I would have, but I have no faith this year. And that's, it's not like they don't still deserve the number 1 seed they have, but I have followed KU sports avidly for my entire life. This is definitely in the bottom 3 Bill Self teams that we've had since he took up head coaching.
Well, now we have the 3-minute spectator delay. You should be able to see it on OPGG, which is
let's see if it's
hopefully.
Updated now. In a live game, question mark? please.
Might see if I can do it with you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't protect my PC. I know it's a bat file. Run anyway. Show me the League of Legends game.
Oh, PGG might be bad though. They might have swapped. You got evil OPGG today.
That would be quite tragic. Did I ever actually press the button and order my food? I did. Oh, it's Christmas. Well, we are attempting to load, so...
Excellent. Well, then we might get to cast a game of League of Legends at some point. Still a minute 30. Again, this is Return to the Middle Sticks Premier versus Planetary Collision Esports. Both teams are 2-1. Aegis still has a weird system, so this game is in group, which means that it matters, I don't want to say exponentially more than the other games, but it does matter quite a bit more than the other ones. Planetary Collision actually has not played a game in group yet, so all of theirs are the cross-group games. We won last week against Team Ambition Power, so off to a good start. Basically, you want to finish top 2 in your group, because then you automatically qualify for playoffs. If you finish 3rd or 4th, you have to play in like a play-in round. If you finish 5th, you're eliminated. So just finish top 2, and then you don't have to worry about anything weird happening.
Yeah, you want to win more games, try destroying the enemy nexus. Want to get hit by less skill shots, dodge.
Yeah, that's our Korean advice, I'm pretty sure.
Courtesy of Sun Tzu. I think what might be happening is that since we haven't hit the spectator delay, it's just going to permanently attempt to load until it's no longer being delayed by spectators. So I might
Well, we're at
and retry.
2-1-0 and loading, so.
Ah.
Well, I'm actually not loading. Now I'm loading, but.
Excellent.
Anyway, see what that looks like now. I have a very black screen. There we go. And I'm in. Hopefully my co-caster will be able to join me at some point.
Unprotect my PC.
But we're
Launch the game.
actively watching League of Legends on the blue side. Return of the Middle Sticks Premier on the red side. Planetary Collision Esports. Already some pings going down, so it looks like some sort of shenanigans could potentially be happening. There's a 3-stack inside the side bush for PCE, which is kind of novel, as Jarvan spots out Sexhaver Simon, who did put a ward down at the enemy red buff, and that'll give a little bit more knowledge to ROTM. The counter invade going on for Silver Shakes, Sanctus, and BB Nuna. BB Nuna.
Minions have spawned.
Oh, that doesn't bode well.
No?
It is not running it. That's unfortunate.
Can you spectate off of me?
That option is grayed out for me.
I guess give it another try, and we hope for the best. I've usually had to do it twice from OPGG for whatever reason. I don't know why exactly.
Yeah, this will be my 3rd attempt. Uh-oh. Scrams wants a sub for AGL. Sorry, Chief.
Oh no.
I'm taken.
Silver Shakes went airy on Ari. Which are 2 words that sound similar, but aren't. That's big analysis points. And surprisingly, Paragon and Coinflip Sup have not completely shoved in Sanctus and BB Nuna on the first wave. We'll have to keep an eye on that one as Hoarder hits level 2 in the top lane and chases Cloud off. I'm hoping it's just Cloud with an E. Ah, there we go. The Caitlyn Lux experience starting to happen in the bottom lane. Status report, Captain Oath.
We're still trying.
Oh, gank into mid. Simon here. Max hits the Abscond and the Abduct. Flash already from Silvershakes. Simon just trying to chase him down. Silvershakes just trying to get lost in the minion. One more auto. Red buff. Oh no, the Q. It's first blood for Silvershakes. As Simon gets a little too cute with that one and tanks a tower shot that he didn't need to. That was on the scale of unlucky, very unlucky. Oh, Mass Zero with the flash in place that's actually not quite going to work out. The Dragon Lance doesn't connect, but he doesn't tank the extra tower shot. The mistake that Simon made. And instead Max will be able to get away. So first blood for PCE. They're hanging in there in their lanes so far. Zero is very low, and Simon has found him, and he doesn't have flash, and now Simon has killed him. A little
Yeah,
bit
it's
greedy.
unfortunate.
Sorry, go ahead.
He had just used the flag and drag too.
Yeah, a little bit greedy, I think, going for the Scuttle Crab. No real way to escape from that situation.
See a flash and cleanse out of Paragon in the bot lane. That's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, we, again, don't have the full story about what happened there, but so far Sanctus and BB Nuna doing just fine down there, up to a little CS lead shoving in, and the Summoner spells out of Paragon. It's a pretty good situation, all things considered, for Varus Thresh.
His top lane seems to be going surprisingly well for Hoarder not having any mana.
Yep. Maybe doing a little bit of baiting here because Simon is in the side bush. Cloud jumps in. There's a knockback. Simon here dashing in. Hoarder has to flash away. Cloud is able to pick up the kill. Simon should be able to chase this one down. And yeah, no turrets there to accidentally tank. So the 1-for-1 trade. And Coinflip's up spotted Zero doing the Raptors. Actually steals none of them away. Ah, gets one little one. Oh, that's a really cute little pink ward from PCE, actually, back behind the red buff. Coinflip's up doing his best to scout this one out. I don't think that there's really any way that this goes sour. Yeah, it's a clean smite from Mask Zero, and Dragon number 1 on the board for PCE. But Simon's 2-1.
There wasn't really much play there for Return of the Middle Stick, so a good pickup there for PCE. Cloud going for something.
Hoarder is just beating the shit out of him. Now knocks him back into the minion wave. And Hoarder should be able to finish this one off. Oh, the dodge, the stun. He's got his Q reset. The auto's just enough damage from Hoarder. Even fired the shock blast into the minions in celebration. And now the flash forward BB Nuna lands the hook onto Paragon. He's in trouble, but the binding from Coinflip Sup isn't quite enough to make anything happen there. And Sanctus picks up his first kill in the bottom lane. And the Varus Thresh lane, again, surprisingly okay early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just cause and effect of Paragon having both summoners blown early. Would have definitely been able to reposition and do a lot more with that after the binding landed.
Yeah, so Sanctus and Nuna shoving on in. Shouldn't be able to get anything super worthwhile, but the fact that they're even in CS up a kill, relatively remarkable early on. And Simon now has found Masked Zero once again and fired his shotgun into his back. Zero doing all right too, despite all the pressure he's been under from Simon. Still up 10 CS, has been able to make something happen. Maybe. Well, they're looking for a dive on Hoarder. It's going to be the next play. Silver Shakes is here as well. Hoarder's trying to stall this minion wave just outside of tower range. In comes the Irelia ult. Now Silver Shakes on through, tanks one shot. It's just not quite enough there from Hoarder. It's a nice... Would you call that a dive? It never really got into tower range.
Yeah, mostly just a attempted 3-man. So. As analysis, I'm doing my best to. That was kind of cool, looking at least. I'm doing my best to cast off of the Twitch stream, which is going surprisingly well, actually.
I'm very sorry about that. We'll get you in for game 2.
It's not a big deal. I've done it before.
Oh, it's a 700 gold lead for PCE. Still early stages, of course. Max looking for blood in the mid lane. He's out of mana, though, and Silver Shakes lands the charm. Can't quite pull him into tower range. Otherwise, that might have been a little costly. Silver Shakes has to be careful. No Spirit Rush available, and coin flips up, flashes for the light binding over the wall. That was on a ward. He's going to die to the tower. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, his ADC gets dove. All things considered, again, still pretty positive for PCE.
Yeah, especially with the play on the other side of the map, they're going to get several plates off of this. It doesn't even really matter that they're splitting this multiple ways, because it's just team-wide gold that's getting into their pockets. It's going to be responded to a little bit by plates in mid. Oh, we've even got the Herald here. This might actually end up being RotM favored in gold. Close-ish. Only about 500 down.
Yeah, Silver Shakes looking for a little bit more. Dives in with the Spirit Rush. Simon caught a little bit off guard, I think, and Mask Zero interrupted the collateral damage, and now Coin Flips Up is in trouble as Silver Shakes has the extra dashes available. Mask Zero finishes him off. Meanwhile, Hoarder and Cloud just renewing pleasantries up in the top lane. Irelia ult comes out. A lot of damage from Hoarder being exchanged back. Silver Shakes is here, though, so Hoarder has to try to run back to the safety of his tower. That's so much healing. And now the 4-man collapse, the flash from Hoarder, still gets knocked up somehow, and Jarvan executes to the tower. All right.
Execute. It's just clean. I don't know if for what is effectively a clean play on the side of PCE, it really didn't look like it was, but they don't lose anything for it, so I guess.
Yeah, and now it's getting harder and harder for RotM because while it's a 2,000 gold lead only, your one bright spot right now is Simon on the Varus, and he's, well, maybe we get a little bit more here as Max finds Sanctus. Lux ult not quite there. Paragon walks in for one auto attack to steal the kill. 80 carry things. Oh, Hoarder dodges the flag and drag, but now stuck in the Jarvan Jacuzzi. Getting a little bit warm in there, and Cloud is able to finish him off.
Yeah, that's one of those, I've got my laner dead to rights, and I know I don't really have any vision, but I really want to kill him. It's a top laner experience. I unfortunately know it well. I've never had that happen to me.
Never?
No.
Not once? Alright.
No, I'm immune to getting gated by myself.
Kill in the bottom lane secures Dragon for Simon and the rest of our RotM. Now Max looking for Silver Shakes. This is a good trade thus far, but Silver Shakes standing strong now, gets the Everfrost off. Does he have the crowd control that he needs? Dashing on in. Max has to flash away. The rest of ROTM squad makes their presence known from the bottom side, and that's going to mean PCE have to back off.
Yeah, it was a really nice rotation by PCE, because I think with the cooldowns being what they are now, Max might have been able to follow up on that again.
Oop. Flash over the wall for the hook. BB Nuna just brings in Sanctus, and they'll be able to take down coin flips up. Really nice play from Nuna, actually. Sanctus now 2-1 on the Varus, has his Yumu's Ghostblade finished as his first item, starting to stack on a tier. So really committed to the poke this game. Max escapes the jacuzzi. Mask Zero dies to the tower shot and the following auto from Simon on the dive. The first little mistake that we've really seen from PCE this game.
Yeah, and that seems uncharacteristic. They've appeared pretty measured so far, and there's not really a reason for them to go for that play just then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
also
Order being kind of picked on so far has really put a damper on his item progression this game.
yeah, falling pretty far behind Cloud right now. I don't think they saw coin flips up, or if they did, they're baiting very strongly. This is a really interesting situation because there's a lot of people in the river as well. Max is going to take some poke from over the wall. Ooh, has to dodge the chain of corruption. I was right. I was saying the right words, and then I doubted myself halfway through saying them. Well, still a lot of people in the river. That's my big analysis. They're all just hanging out top river. Other than Paragon, who is getting some tower plates. Has to be careful though, because Silver Shakes is headed down there right now. Simon and Coin Flips up and found Mask Zero. Don't quite get the light binding. Damage comes on through the hook though. Follows up onto Simon, able to tank through. Tower goes down in the bottom lane. Paragon's just dead to the Ahri though. Zero falls, and they're able to escape Simon out of the back. Hoarder picks up a kill in the top river as well as Coin Flips up. So it's 2-for-1 cross map for RTM.
It's pretty solid cross map. You get the tower in the bot lane as well. First tower off the map. That's nice. It's a lot of extra gold. It's actually evened up the gold count completely despite the kill disparity. And yeah, I mean, we had quite a bit of time before the second Herald spawn. I have to assume everybody was just in the that's a nice Hex Flash.
Yeah. Oh, the hook! Oh, Hoarder! Oh no!
Not like this. Surely not. That is unfortunate. No, I have to assume everybody was just in the river because they felt like killing each other, which is reasonable.
Yeah, second Herald spawn now, and everyone paying a lot of attention to that. Lux ult does hit Sanctus, but doesn't quite finish him off. But he has no health with which to do a fight right now. So RTM has muscled their way in on the second Herald, and should be able to take that.
Yeah, there shouldn't really be a world where PCE
PCE still might want to fight this one. They have 4. It's actually just a 4v4 up here on the top side. Oh, they dodged the Irelia stun though, Cloud. That's a lot of ults that just went down onto Simon, and he is very dead, unfortunately, as a result of that. Paragon may be in trouble. The charm lands onto Coin Flips up. He's got to flash away, but now the re-engage. Max over the wall, able to snipe one out. Cloud now getting into the back line, making a menace of himself, but Paragon finishes that one off finally. It seems like these teams just pull the trigger so fast and decisively. Somebody dies at every moment, and there's Nuna picking off Max, but now the flash forward from Paragon as he snipes out Silver Shakes, and it's 3v2 on the map. The hook over the wall doesn't quite land. Nuna's so low, but there's nothing left. The flash forward from Paragon picks up the double kill.
Everything feels so chaotic. And yet, you can tell that it's not. You can tell that each player is actually using all of their abilities in the most optimal fashion that they can for these fights. It does really give you a good idea of how close they are, both in power level, spikes, gold, that the fights are actually looking like this.
I think a lot of it just has to do with RotM's comp, right? It's having the 4 ranged characters means that if you don't decisively use some of your gap closing abilities, you just look like a fool and die. But we're seeing them all hit, and it makes these fights just really chaotic and wild and back and forth.
I was gonna say, I mean,
Oh, Hoarder might be caught now. Nuna flashes
Uh-huh.
forward. Hoarder has to counter flash. Coin flips up. Not quite able to find the light binding back over the wall. And now battle line's drawn around this third dragon. Oh, the forward, though, Silver Shakes. They find Hoarder, who just greets a little bit for an extra ward and pays for it. And now it's 5v4 on the map.
yeah, and I think the 5v4, especially without Jace poke, signals maybe return the middle sticks, let
Simon
this dragon
Hook.
go.
You say that, and there they are contesting. Mass 0 low. Max not quite able to find the abduct on there. Paragon and Max looking for the Chain of Corruption from Max lands. A lot of damage across the gap, but Paragon can't quite finish any kills off, and Cloud takes him down.
You remember that thing I said about Hoarder dying and RotM maybe giving this dragon up? That was more of a hope than it was like a prediction.
It's a RotM team. We gotta flip over every single objective.
I agree with you. I just don't know exactly how weighted the coin that we're flipping is in that scenario. That felt maybe like a bit of a 65-35 kind of flip, and I am a master of flipping myself, so. We do pick up the top lane tower as a bit of a consolation prize, so the gold itself actually not looking too terrible even after the kills going over there. I'm also not wildly concerned about this dragon count. I am a little bit concerned about giving the team with Aurelia a Ocean Soul, so might want to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, all things considered, I mean it's a 6 kill discrepancy, right? But ROTM is only down 400 gold.
Right.
It's kind of wild, honestly, especially considering they're pretty much down across the board in CS. It's just the objectives that they've been able to pick up, and their ability to knock down plates earlier on. It's a weird game, and it's going to continue being weird, I think. We're in the upside-down St. Patrick's Day Guinness-fueled binge, or whatever this is. Max looking for Cloud, as is Simon. They found him in the side lane. He'll get the stun, trying to turn this one back around, but he just gets eviscerated. And now the teleport channeled in from Silver Shakes means that he's going to have to try to escape as well. Max finds the Abscond and Abduct, but they can't chase too much further because Mask Zero and Sanctus are both there. The piercing arrow lands onto Max. He gets a little bit of healing from the Kingslayer, but now caught in the Jarvan Jacuzzi, and he'll fall to 0. Hoarder was left alone on the top side, though, and he'll work his way through on this top lane tower, and the bottom lane is in mid lane, and they'll work their way on that mid lane tower.
Yeah, I mean, PCE getting, the trade kill back, but they're losing out on a lot of macro here. I mean, even if not,
Oh
even
my
if
goodness.
these towers don't all the way go down. Yikes.
Paragon somehow can just tank all of those skill shots and be fine, but now the piercing arrow finally comes through. Coin flips up, has to flash out of the little alcove there, but Cloud still continuing to chase. Now looking for Simon. He hits the Vanguard's edge, flash away from Simon. Does he have the ability? Does he have the dashes to get away? Cloud looking for the dive. He's going to trade it out. No, the shield. They have one back, but here comes Hoarder to clean up the trade kill on the dive. 3v4 on the map. 3v5 on the map? 3v4. I can count.
Yeah, 3v4 on the map, and at the end of the 3, I don't really feel like there's a whole lot of threat of Baron. If this was not Poke Varus, maybe. But it's
Max is just weaving his way in and out of 4 people. Now back over the wall. Had one more dash. Hits the extra Abscond and Abduct onto Nuna, but can't quite finish off the kill. The dive in and the kill secure for PCE. That was a really impressive little bit of play from Max, but unfortunately can't quite navigate the situation.
Yeah, give him like 2 more dashes, so he would have like 6. Then I think he has it.
Well, also 1 more minute for his Roa. could have been
True.
key.
Would have been nice. Despite the not less than stellar start, the lethality item cheapness and just the power of Manamune at 2 items has made it so Hoarder can kind of exist in this lane actually, which is pretty impressive all things considered.
Yeah, he's still shoving minions at Cloud and not dying in the side lane solo, so that's pretty impressive. It does speak to the mastery that Hoarder has over the champion, of course, but it's hard because you almost have to assume that as a given. And then you find out something like Lexus's first picking Trundle, or, you know, first timing Trundle in a competitive game, and you're like, what? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's a combination of just the skill level that these players are playing at and how long they've been. I think it has a lot to do genuinely with how long you've been playing League of Legends in a certain role, or just League of Legends in general. New character comes out, the principles are the same, or new character that you haven't played before.
Well, Dragon spawned. PCE buzzing around it, gonna start it off. Nuna with the hook over the wall. Looking for coin flips up, plays him back in. They're getting a full fight out of this one, and I don't know that that's what they want. Sanctus does finish off the kill, but now Max dashes in, trying to dash back out. It's counter Vanguard's edge, dueling Vanguard's edges, if you will, and Cloud is able to win that fight. Now they collapse onto Simon and take him down. It's just the Jason Caitlyn left alive, and they have to try to scoot a boot out the back of the fight. But Silver Shake says no? Okay, finally says no with the Foxfire for the double kill. And now PCE looking at Baron.
Yeah, and I don't see any way that this doesn't go there over to PCE here. I mean, you kind of called it the nature of the Return of the Middlesticks comp. If all of the gap close is used by PCE correctly, it's very difficult actually to do anything from Return of the Middlesticks' side, especially split like that. I mean, 2 of your primary damage dealers were up at the top part of the fight, while Max and Simon were kind of getting jumped on.
Order forced to give the red buff over to his jungler. Tough life that we're living in right now. Nuna is going to hook coin flips up again, which is words that we've never said in that order on this cast. Now the dragon going to go over to PCE.
Yeah, coin flips up having a little bit of an issue, just generally speaking, with the hook champion. I think it's more the ability that PCE has had to control vision in this game. I mean, there's not really anybody who can safely walk
Order's
with
in trouble
coin
though,
flips
getting
or-
dove, has to flash away from the flag and drag, but that means the Jacuzzi very available, and they'll be able to take him down in the bottom lane and continue their push on. It's starting to be a planetary collision all across the map here, as they're out to about a 5,000 gold lead. Yeah, objective bounty's about to turn on, and ROTM needs to weather the storm now a little bit, and hopefully not die to this immediate Baron. The Jacuzzi from Max is pulled out. A little bit of damage coming out of coin flips up, and they're able to clear that wave, but now, do they even check this pocket of vision? Max, gets interrupted out of the dash, but throws Silver Shakes into the Jarvan Jacuzzi. The Silas Jacuzzi? I'm not really sure. There's a lot of things happening right now. Big hook lands onto Simon, and now Paragon has to try to get out of the back. It's just coin flips up v everyone. Max is somehow still alive. He killed Mask 0, but wasn't able to do much else. And now it's Hoarder v4. He hits one Shock Blast onto Sanctus. Can he hold the Nexus Towers is a question I have, and we're about to get an
a
answer.
nut shock blast.
Another little Shock Blast. He's trying to just clear the minion wave, but the one cannon minion going to be a little bit difficult for him to get. Silver Shakes has to be careful. Doesn't quite take the unempowered Shock Blast. The range... Oh, Hoarder. Hoarder is playing this so well. Can he find the lineup? Oh, good block from Nuna. Now the Lux ult not quite going to land onto Silver Shakes. We're still focusing on him, which makes me a little bit worried about him, but he's got like 400 extra health out of nowhere. and so I think that he's okay.
Yeah, a combination of 2 oceans and the red buff is actually going to top him off surprisingly nicely there. And yeah, things continue to devolve a little bit for Return of the Middle Sticks in this game.
Yeah, now very behind the 8 ball. You have objective bounties available. You have bounties on 3 heads for PCE. Gonna take a pretty special move, I think, to get back in the game. And right now, it might be Simon hiding in the tri-bush, ready to ambush. Cloud going to walk in freely. They get the light binding over the wall, but I don't know that they can burst him out in any reasonable amount of time. And Simon going to check off of that fight.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like you're maybe just a little bit too far behind
coin
to be
flip
doing stuff like that on
sup is
Graves.
probably pretty dead there. Yeah, the flash forward, Nuna
Yeah.
can't quite find the hook, but it just doesn't matter. There's enough crowd control there. Simon has to try to escape out of the backside. Max is doing some split pushing, but it just doesn't completely matter. Cloud can't quite connect on that Vanguard's edge that would have spelled Simon's demise, and instead they'll continue to push on in. They'll grab a Varus ult. We'll see if that's the big key to be able to hold them, is Max and Paragon trying to hold on. Simon getting top off in base. They'll even throw the teleport in, looking to end right now. Dash in for Mass Zero, not quite able to find it. He should fall, so RTM able to hold. They get 1 kill. The hook, though, from Nuna. What is happening? There's just so many skill shots, and it looks like PCE should be able to escape. Max is going to continue the chase. It looks like long teleport coming in from Hoarder. Are they really looking for this fight, though? Hoarder is still on the flank. He's walking in the long way. They're still escorting him out. RTM might look for this. They've got the collapse. Here comes Hoarder. Here comes Simon over the wall. A good stun, though, from Cloud. Do they have the damage, though? Hoarder looking for it. Can't quite finish off Silver Shakes. Now Simon. Oh, Sanctus with just the last-second stopwatch. He'll be finished off by the Lux ult. Paragon gets hit by the hook. RTM gets 2 kills, but at what cost?
I mean, if you don't lose, like, right now, it's not a ton of cost. You do pick up a really nice shutdown onto Sanctus, especially to go onto Paragon. That's an extra 1,000 gold onto your Caitlyn, but you also have no base anymore. Your base is gone. Base carton empty.
Oops. No more base. Oops, all berries.
Every time anybody brings up that meme, I remember my trainer at my last job. He put a call into the help desk line. He was confused why it wasn't working, so he called like 2 or 3 more times, and it just kept duplicating. And so his manager sent him a screenshot of the call queue, and it was just his number like 700 or 800 times.
Oh, excellent. Oh!
Oops, all Imran.
Oh. Coin flips up. Had the bead on that dragon, but not quite able to snipe it.
That would have been pretty spicy, picking off the ocean, delaying the soul again, but
Yeah, now
I think now with the soul and incoming Baron.
Yeah, looking at the inventories for RotM, there's no heal debuff available for them, which I think is going to be a pain point if there's a fight. Also, hopefully, don't have Purdue in your bracket. They're down 5 with 1:20 to go to Fairleigh Dickinson. Normal
Also
1 seed
known as
things.
fairly ridiculous.
Hook gonna land on the Nuna. Do they had to burn so much just to kill Thresh, and now Mass Zero looking for the flank, can't quite find the initiation onto ROTM. They do pick the support. They have a tower left. Oh, do they have 2 towers? The mid tower's still alive somehow. And it stalls out the push a little bit. Nuna's had a really good game on the Thresh. I don't even know that that was necessarily a mistake, more just a little overconfidence from PCE, not all walking together.
Yeah, no, unequivocally, this Thresh has been lethal. Also a incredibly effective game from Silver Shakes. It's gone so understated
Oh,
because
Hoarder dodges the Irelia ult.
yeah.
Can he make something special happen? They get the teleport in from Max as well. Simon trying to scrap it out with him. Hoarder's able to flash away with just a tick of health. Max is in looking for Cloud, but they can't quite even knock him into the Guardian Angel. Max is dead, and now the stopwatches, or the Guardian Angel finally popped, excuse me, onto Irelia. Mask Zero's trying his best. Oh my gosh, that damage from Paragon, almost able to take down Sanctus, but all 5 members still standing for PCE, and you know what that means? It's Ocean Soul time, baby. They're just healing back up while standing there in the faces of RRTM, who are now down max. Very measured approach to this, we'll say.
This feels like a really tough ask if PCE was going to push for it, but I think they're just going to go for the triple inhib.
Yeah, Silver Shakes takes a shock blast, but it's not going to mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. Cloud and Sanctus continue working their way onto that inhibitor, and now triple inhibitor down. Mask Zero can't quite find that flag and drag. Silver Shakes dashes on in, looking for a charm, does find one onto Hoarder, plus the hook from Nuna to finish that one off. Paragon continuing to output damage, but it just doesn't matter as the towers fall. The Nexus about to fall. There's a lot more happening that's a little spicy, but the Nexus eventually dies, and that'll signal the end to that one. PCE up 1-0 now. A surprise performance. 14-2 on the Ari for Silver Shakes at the end of that one. Yeah, really impressive, I think, from Sanctus and Nuna. Really, no notes. It was a really well-played game by PCE.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. POV, you are playing a poke comp into Ocean Soul. XD.
Well, PCE going to lead 1-0, and we'll be right back with game 2.
POV, your co-caster has no sense of timing because casting off of a 10-second delay sucks.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's just it's really funny. Purdue lose yet? Because I actually have them going to like the Elite 8 or whatever, so.
Nah, 52 seconds left. Down 3. Purdue
Yeah.
makes a free throw, though. Huge. They're actually still favorites. If you were gonna bet, you'd get better money on Fairleigh Dickinson to win right now.
Huh.
Despite Purdue being down 3. I don't know why the odds update live in my regular sports scores app, but
DraftKings players seething or something like that.
that says Barstool Sports app. I don't know why it's just in the score. Damn, we're getting rule booked.
Yeah, I noticed. Is that Gold 3 solo queue? Or is that TFT?
TFT.
I was gonna say, you've been grinding since I last saw your update.
Nah, I'm still Silver 4. I think I've played one game since the update. Granted, it was a Yumi game, so it was a win, but you know.
I have to thank the funny bladed leg woman for getting me up above a 40% win rate finally. Still hard stuck though. Sad.
I've got the funny 48% win rate, but
Gains.
I mean it's 11 and 12, and I'm still getting plus 42 and minus 10, so should be okay to climb.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully.
pretty good.
Would recommend that. Wouldn't recommend not playing ranked for like 4 years, or only playing your placements for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because kind of tanks your actual ranking without tanking your MMR. So all the players in my games are mid-gold, and I am just Silver 4. It's very fun. It's a funny MMR thing, I guess.
Something, work harder for your LP, bozo. Thank you, Riot Games.
They want to give us a reason to grind, and that is you're lower ranked than you should be. Anyway, did you see the Skarner thing today?
I saw the
Impales AoE now? That's
yeah,
just
I saw
a
the
thing
video,
that's
but
gonna
I
happen.
didn't see the death diary.
I don't know what that's all about. Seems like some nonsense to me.
Captain Flowers is paying people off again.
Understandable. He is the only Skarner main after all. I don't know who could play a lot of games of that champion and like legitimately enjoy themselves.
Yeah,
Seems weird to me.
I don't know, it's like those people who like insta-lock Garen top lane no matter their matchup.
I mean, that's just you enjoy not ever having to turn your brain on, right?
I suppose, yeah.
Because like even in a bad matchup, all you do is you just stand there and try to farm. And in a good matchup, you stand there and you try to farm. Well, my sports app has said that they put 7 more seconds back on the clock.
Can't wait to hear that story.
Now there's 18 seconds left. And it's 16.
I don't know if I sent you this yet or not. I also don't know if you watched WandaVision.
No, but I do know what the Ship of Theseus is. So
Yeah, not that they came up with the Ship of Theseus thing. That's been around for some time. However, the most recent reference was hilarious.
I'm sending you a draft link.
The draft link has been received.
You're also in the lobby and can see the draft link, but notwithstanding.
Yeah, those are not related.
We are on draft, says Sanctus. RotM is nowhere in, not in any particular order in this lobby right now, so
That's fine, they got time.
we'll have to see how that all works out. In fact, Paragon has swapped teams, it looks like. Oh, and TL beat EG. Oh no, they labeled that wrong. No, they did. They were just behind by 7 kills while winning. Good for them. Huh. Oh, we're into draft for game number 2. PCE leads 1-0, and we're not going to see Mastery or Jarvan. I think that that's reasonable. I don't know what happened to Oath. Hopefully he's okay.
I'm just talking with my headset off.
Ah,
Yeah, that
okay.
seems reasonable. We are dropping the Rakan or the. Oh, we're dropping the Rakan and the Karma. We're also not going to see Varus, which I can't fault them for that either. I don't feel like it was a massive issue, but
I feel like the issue is the Thresh, personally, but I mean, there's enough. I don't want to say there's enough champions that can do the same thing as Thresh, because there really aren't. Because there's not ones that can provide the same safety, but the things that Nuna was doing well was the hooking thing. So there are more champions that do that.
yeah, yep, for sure.
No cats. Now RotM with a first pick opportunity. Do you go Caitlyn again? That felt pretty good. They're gonna take
Maybe you-
Xayah.
Yeah,
And that
maybe
puts
you
the
go
pressure now
Xayah,
on PCE to maybe look at Rakan.
which I mean that makes sense. I kind of like that because if you don't take Rakan here, then you can kind of assume it's probably going to be Rakan for Return of the Middle Sticks. The synergy is still enough that I think it's almost always worth looking at both of them, and they will answer the Rakan. That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, Rakan. I don't know that I like Wukong this early, but we're hovering that.
I guess it depends on whether or not you consider Wukong to be a flex still.
Maybe
I
we
do.
go.
I think Wukong jungle's fine.
Can we go full Vestaya comp from here if we get Ahri? Probably not a good one.
Not a great one, not without a Xayah, theoretically speaking. Like, you gotta get another Vestayan ADC, I don't think there is one.
Annie locked in, and that's been a flex. Traditionally has gone to max when we've seen it for ROTM, but we have seen Coin Flip Up play it once or twice, I'm pretty sure. So, a little flexibility action for ROTM. And now, Gragus would also be a flex. And it's locked in. Yeah, not a lot of clarity for ROTM's picks, but you have Engage, you have Burst, and you have Disengage, and you have Burst. And you have Fairleigh Dickinson beating Purdue.
Okay, that did happen. Well, if there were any remaining brackets after yesterday, probably shouldn't be now.
I'm glad I audibled off of my original Purdue bracket.
Haha, yeah, that's a good call.
That might be a Final Four team for me, and that might be bad, but anyway. Not important right now. What's important is Silas is banned after Ahri has been picked. We're off to full Vestayan. I don't think we can round it out, but I like the look, you know.
Yeah, it would be really cool, but without the option for a secondary Vestayan ADC, seems particularly unlikely.
Because like you have Set for top lane.
Yeah.
Or jungle, or support. Malphite, Caitlyn, Talia also gone. Now PCE is going to disappoint us by not locking in a Vistayan, and really disappoint us by locking in Ezreal.
Yeah, there were a lot of ways this could go, and I'm disappointed in the direction that it went. Don't get me wrong, it's a good pick, right? But man, I hate casting Ezreal.
Yeah, I don't feel like the champion has like enough high moments to really justify it. We're gonna have some Udyr gaming. Excellent.
Udyr gaming.
He run, he stun, he job, he done. He does a little bit more than that now. Mostly he just like burns people to death with a Phoenix, but Jax would be interesting because that would very much solidify which roles these are going into. And there it is. So that'll be Jax for Hoarder, and I'm assuming that it'll be Max on the Gragas with coin flips up on the Annie.
That does seem likely. That would be an interesting matchup. That would be a lot less interesting of a matchup. PCE saw the Jace and was like, hey, we can do that. Sounds fun. I don't have a whole lot to say here.
Yeah, we get...
Return of the Middle Six is going very, very simplistic. Not that the champions aren't good. I mean, Jax, Annie, Xayah, we are hitting the top of the tier lists here, but the comp only does one thing.
Yeah, but it fights, and that's what we saw that they wanted to do last game with a comp that didn't really fight.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. I think that's a good way of looking at it for sure.
And everyone got an order. Let's go. Well, I don't want to talk more basketball, but all of the morning games were pretty boring, so we had a banger 16/1, you know.
But that's what, like the second or third time in history?
The second. Now no one can make fun of Virginia anymore, exclusively. Now it's Virginia and Purdue.
I still kind of want it to happen to a perennial #1 seed, just so that we can finally close the door on the gap is not widening anymore. It's actually getting more narrow. Debate.
Excuse me. Impossibly, Purdue has become the biggest train wreck in Ohio in 2023.
Ooh.
That's a bit spicy. Alright. Alright, we're into second draft. And you're into second draft. How does it feel to be in second draft?
I'm loving it. I'm very happy to be here. I appreciate Return to the Middle Six for this opportunity.
Alright, we gotta get a little something out there, right? PCE's logo. It's a little phallic, is it not?
No, it's definitely. Yep.
Okay, cool. Glad we're on the
For
same
sure.
page. Just wanted to make sure.
I mean, I get what they were going for, like planetary collision. Totally, yes. However,
I feel like you don't need the circle.
Nope.
Like, I think just the planets colliding would have been enough. And then it's not as phallic.
Definitely enough. Yep.
But maybe they wanted to go for a phallus. Sometimes you just want to slap your dick down on the table, and you have to respect that sometimes. I also think it's interesting. So they're PC esports,
Ah, yes.
which is like you're
That's
playing on a PC. Um, they could have gone politically correct esports, but they're not because they capitalize the E in esports.
like when the news ever tries to do an interview, he's a professional online esports PC gamer. Huh?
I mean,
He's what?
didn't you see the Olympic ad? You have to be an athlete.
And I did not. I'm thankful that I did not see that.
Did you not? Did you see the Olympic esports game list?
No.
Oh, okay.
Please tell me Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy is on that list.
No, that would be slightly too violent. I'm pretty sure.
That's tragic.
So. The big theme is that they didn't want any violent games whatsoever, right? So they're ones that emulate sports. So you have representing archery is Tic-Tac-Bow, which is a game I've never heard of. For baseball, we went with WBCE Baseball Power Pros. For chess, you have chess.com.
Naturally. See, that makes sense.
That one's fine. No issues with that one. Cycling Zwift. Never heard of that game. For dance, you have Just Dance. People will be competing in Just Dance for an Olympic medal.
Love that.
Motorsport is Gran Turismo.
I can live with that. Forza's better though.
Sailing Virtual Regatta. Taekwondo Virtual Taekwondo. And for tennis, Tennis Clash. And that's the entire list.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
That's your esports at the Olympics. I know I'm working on my virtual regatta right now so that I can make the Olympics.
Yeah, I don't. Kind of makes me angry. A little bit.
Oh, Virtual Regatta is an online web browser sailing race simulator.
We have a flash game in the Olympus. Let's go.
And it's French. Oh no.
What a day for flash games. Truly.
Oh yeah, they have the Olympic Esports Series. Wow. It starts in 13 days. Could represent the US. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Now I'm kind of curious about Tic-Tac-Bow. Oh, it's an app.
Yeah, no, that.
It's just a mobile game.
Oh, excellent. Olympic sponsored mobile game.
An Olympic sponsored mobile game.
I sort of did want Raid Shadow Legends to be on the list, but you said no violence, and I was like, it's not gonna make it.
No, I mean, a lot of people are like, yeah, where's League of Legends? Where's Call of Duty? Where's CS:GO? You know?
Right. Games that already have like massive, thriving competitive scenes.
Nope. Tic-Tac-Bow, Virtual Regatta, and you'll like it.
And you'll like it.
I have to be a athlete. Well, we're almost ready for game number 2. We've done it. We
Yep.
survived another spectator delay.
We're just about there.
The real athletes were the friends we made along the way.
Not like this.
Well, PCE on match point. They had a really impressive game number 1. Now, I think a little bit more difficult to execute of a comp this game. And RTM very straightforward. They're looking to fight people. They're looking to team fight. They're looking for blood. You would imagine.
I can only assume. Truly.
Well, here we go. RTM doing kind of the same little, I don't want to say gambit that they've done the last game, but they like to slip in Simon. You get a ward at the red buff, and you pressure the jungler with 3 people. Sometimes they stay and they try to take it. Sometimes they don't. But it's the same counter from PCE, where Rakan grabs the ward in the middle bush in bottom lane, and they get the counter ward on the red buff. But this time, Simon has wandered in and has stayed there on top of the red buff. Now gets spotted by Silver Shakes on his way out. So yeah, not going to go for this steal. One of their NACL qualifier matches, we saw Hoarder didn't get spotted on the way into that tri-bush, and they just went in, pressured the jungler off of his red buff at level 1, and basically set up the whole game off of that. It was really impressive, but don't get to see the strategy this time. Instead, it's going to be cross maps for both junglers.
I am very sad. My spectator is not letting me in, despite being in the lobby this time.
Well,
I think the only thing that probably would fix it is like a PC restart, and that won't really matter for this game, so.
I mean, if you restart, maybe you can get in off.
Off OPGG, yeah, that's possible. I give it one more shot then.
Well, welcome to the Maris solo podcast for a second.
Please enjoy your stay.
We had snow here in Kansas City earlier this morning, and throughout the day, a couple flurries. That's not what people talk about on podcasts, but that's okay.
Not typically.
Oh, I thought you were restarting.
I
thought it
am.
was- Oh, okay. You're just here in spirit. Level 2's being hit in a couple of different lanes. Not seeing a whole lot of action, although that charm on a max going to be a little bit more costly than I think he wanted. And Silver Shakes is able to pressure him under tower. Again, just fresh off of a 14 bomb on the Ahri last game. So if he can pick up where he left off, he'll be pretty happy. Hoarder has to try to get this trade down because Mass Zero's up in the top lane. It'll be first blood for the Wukong. Or not the Wukong, but the Jace picks up the kill. And that's unfortunate for Hoarder. Just getting a little too aggressive again without a ward. It's a little top lane syndrome, and now he's going to teleport back in, and then might set up Mask Zero for a regank. He still has flash, so I think maybe expecting it, he should be okay. He does ward. He's looking for the dive on Cloud. Does he have it? Oh, he just doesn't have the damage. The flash forward for the auto. He's going to trade it back. Oh, what a madman. Yeah, I don't know about that play in particular. That was very strange. Oh, it's 2-1 early on for PCE. A lot of extra gold up on that top side compared to other places. And Jax is going to be very behind in CS, and now Mask Zero looks for the gank in mid, going to get the flash out of Max. Flash is early to try to maintain some of his health, so he can continue to stay in lane against Silver Shakes. but it seems like PCE has continued to pick up where they left off, and now Cloud maybe in a little bit of trouble though. No flash. Sexhiver Simon is here, has red buff ticking on him. Gets the stun. I don't think Hoarder can really get into it, be involved, and it'll be the kill for Simon on the Udyr. Oh, Max couldn't quite find the belly slam onto Silver Shakes. Still just trading it out with Ahri. His auto attacks do slightly more damage than Ahri's do, so he'll win that trade. And yeah, well, not. Oh, welcome back. I didn't know if the call would still be open for you.
It was.
And now the big moment of truth. Will Oath finally get to spectate a game of League of Legends tonight? Coin flip sub. Can't quite find exactly what he wants, but he's at least getting pressure on Sanctus and Nuna. So far, just pretty big farm lane down there in the bottom lane, though. Simon's worked his way down around the bottom lane. They have a pink ward in the river, so he should be unseen until now, unfortunately. And now there's some pings going down. Cloud and Hoarder continuing to trade. Hoarder in a bit of a rough spot there, running away from Mask Zero, and it looks like he'll be fine. Cask doesn't quite land there from Max, and that's going to mean that Simon won't be able to find anything in the around the mid lane either. And Silver Shakes still has Spirit Rush available. I think Gragas is going to have to take it back. Simon is just starting on the dragon, which is a choice. Hoarder stands his ground. Oh, gets the stun onto Zero. A little bit of mistime there on the decoy. Give me a status report, Oath. Well, never mind.
We didn't make it in, but I'm watching on Twitch again, so... Uh-oh. Well...
Yeah.
I got in time to see Hoarder die. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
a little unlucky. Flash away from Nuna in the bottom lane. Heal used by Sanctus as well, so positive summoner spell trade for ROTM, and they get the first dragon. Got the first dragon last game as well, and didn't quite go their way, but so far, I don't want to say so good. They're behind, 1,000 gold. Paragon in trouble as well. Sanctus just not gonna find it. There's a lot of skill shots and not a lot hitting, as it turns out.
Yeah, and so far things seem to be proceeding as normal. Mask Zero,
Oh, level 6 for Ezreal. True
Damn.
Shot Barrage. Oh, a great flash by Paragon, but it doesn't matter because Sanctus has a flash of his own to chase on in, and it's the duo lane kill for Sanctus and Nuna. They've picked up, again, kind of where they left off. This feels, I don't want to say like we're watching the same game as last game, but so far, it's kind of the same game as last game.
yeah, if the shoe fits.
Apologies if there's some crinkling in the background. Kale has a 2-liter bottle. It's his favorite toy.
Excellent.
Oh, Cass? Oh. Well. I like the look. That's what matters.
Yeah, it was a good look.
We
But
gotta
now
muster
without
our own
Cask,
excitement here, but Hoarder just looking for the solo kill on Cloud, finishes him off. Nuna can't quite get in range for the quickening, but the Gleaming Quill kill, which if you had on your bingo card, you can go ahead and mark that one off for the game. Max is going to find Silver Shakes walking back into lane. Coin flips up, does get the stun with Tibbers, just the very edge of the range. 100 health, the extra Q, not quite enough to find the damage as Mask Zero works his way through. Max, and now Simon just trying to chase on down. There's a lot of things happening. Once again, more stuns from Coinflip Sub. Simon is untouched, and just eventually the shutdown goes to Coinflip Sub.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, that gold going over there, because I mean, we saw Mask Zero get yet another kill, so it's actually going to be an extra 300. And going onto the Annie is not the worst thing in the world. You're definitely looking for this to be a high source of damage out of this support anyway, so.
Hanging out up here on the top side, looking for a dive on Cloud potentially. Hoarder trying to pull him away from tower. Hex Flash is available if he wants it. Gonna walk in and just hit the straight disintegrate Q, and that's it. That's all the fun we're gonna see from our RotM, and now the opportunity to engage is on the other foot. Nuna doesn't pull the trigger though, and PCE also not able to find a whole lot.
And I'm curious if Coinflip Sub finds
both
anything
supports are
up
actually
here.
still here. This
could get real dicey with Mask Zero being just a stone's throw away.
Yeah. Wow. I'm
Oof.
not even narrating that one. That's a double kill for for Cloud. Now Max and Simon trying to find Silver Shakes. Not enough dashes on the Ari to get away from that one, mostly because they're on cooldown right now. And Silver Shakes falls in the mid lane.
There was a flash out of Silver Shakes, which is kind of nice there. You get that and the kill. That's always appreciated.
Oh, Paragon? No. Alright. It feels like a lot of times when you see players go for these big mechanical plays that they work out. Like they know something I don't. But it just feels like they have it tonight. Like we've seen a lot of these big attempts and they just... I don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing. I feel like my brain's melting very slightly. But it feels like RTM is just trying to skill check their opponents at every turn. And they're not losing the skill check necessarily, but they're making mistakes on it, which I guess is losing the skill check. So
It's losing a type of skill check. It's not the micro that's the problem, it's the timing.
well, it's the timing, and I mean sometimes it's the, oh, there's a extra tower shot here. It's the little bit of positioning. Like, I don't know. It's very weird. It's not the kind of games that we're normally seeing from these players. Hoarder's in mid looking for Silver Shakes, and we're just going to walk on through for this dragon, potentially. Paragon's back in bottom lane. He's looks like the last one to arrive to this fight. Hoarder in a little bit of trouble. He gets really bursted out to start this fight. Now down to about 500 health. Coin flips up over the wall, just lands the single tippers onto Sanctus, and now he's stuck in the back of the pit with no way to leave. Max is in, get a big cask, but Simon gets knocked up on the... there's so much nonsense happening. Max is in a lot of trouble. Silver Shake should be able to finish him off. Simon is trying to do Udyr things, but it's hard when there's champions with a lot of dashes. And now we'll finally be able to get the... Oh, this stopwatch over the wall from Silver Shakes. And he lands the charm afterwards. He's still alive, but the dragon might just end his life here. The flash forward from Paragon finishes that one off. Simon and Paragon still trying to scrap this one out. Cloud low, just able to win that fight as he picks up the double kill on the Jace. The biggest play, no joke. So the blast cone for Simon, he was trying to take over initially, got interrupted by Cyclone from Wukong. And that meant that he couldn't get into the pit when everybody else was in the pit. And I think that might have been the single biggest play of that whole thing. The stopwatch was really nice from Silver Shakes, bought a bunch of time. Like, there were a lot of other nice little plays, but just the inability for Udyr to get into the pit was very tragic, and it's going to cost them the dragon at the end of it.
I mean, the whole fight itself was so drawn out that there's a lot of things that we could point to as what went wrong, but I think, well, I don't know if anything's happening here. Nothing's happening here.
Yeah.
And I think really it's the fact that none of the small things went RotM's way and haven't been since the start of the game that's the real difference maker.
Yeah, it's very strange to see. Hoarder looking for Sanctus. Oh, can't quite get in range for the counter strike. He's probably dead now. With Nuna collapsing in, doesn't hit the Grand Entrance. Gleaming Quill again, auto attacks, and he'll finish him off with a quickening. So Nuna now has 2 kills, and they're both very silly. And we're getting objective bounties at 15 minutes. That's the state of the game that we're in.
They're both very silly. They both happen to be on Hoarder as Jax, TM. So, yeah, definitely something interesting for sure.
No. 15 to 8 in kills. It's a 5,000 gold lead for Planetary Collision. Although Hoarder is back in the bottom lane. He missed that kill earlier on Sanctus. He finds that one, gets the shutdown. Mask Zero is just chasing down Coinflip Sup and now finds Simon. I think Simon plus Tibbers wins this fight on Zero, but with Nuna's help, it might go the other way. We'll see. Yeah. It's enough that at least they have to back off. Meanwhile, mid lane tower dies thanks to Silver Shakes, and Paragon can't really stand in lane against that. Now Mask Zero starts to work on Sheila, but look at the flank set up from Max. It's a 3v3. Can Max find it? He gets the flash E. It's a big burst of damage onto Mask Zero. Silver Shakes is low, but Paragon can't quite finish him off. Now he's got the kite. Does he have the chase? Nuna falls. Shakes is down to 150 health, but he finishes off with the burn on Zaya. It's just the burn. It's the Leandri's Torment kill. But eventually falls. Just a really nice play from Max, though. The flash E over the wall sets that one up really nicely. And now maybe fight number 2 around this Rift Herald? Doesn't look like it. Okay.
So I'm actually and a great game to go for this in, but I'm actually a huge fan of Leandri's Ari. I think it's very underrated. And when you have a enemy mid going Roa and another one who's going to be building demonic into all of the nonsense that your build goes through now, it makes sense.
Yeah, Hoarder having a very Tendies adjacent game, unfortunately. 4 and 8, but has 3 solo kills.
That is very Tendies adjacent, actually.
Yeah. It's just the spirit of RotM top lane, unfortunately. I'm the only one that's never embodied it, I guess. There's only 2 top laners for RotM. You have Tendies and you have V-Bon, and that's it.
Yep. I think at this point in the totem pole of RotM top laners, I am like Tendies V6 or Tendies V7.
Yeah. I unfortunately break the mold a little bit when I play top lane, but don't play it anymore, so can't quite take that one. But it's just very funny. We've had like 3 or 4 top laners who just pick me Ornn every game, and then we've had 6 or 7 that just go insane mode on Jax and Camille, and that's their entire lifestyle.
Insane mode or die trying. Give me the outplay character. I'll either go 7-1 or 1-7.
Yeah. Hoarder looking for Cloud and has some help from Coinflip Sup. And Max even teleports in. It's a shutdown for Hoarder. And now with Dragon spawning in 39 seconds, ROTM has an opportunity to maybe get something done here. A little bit of burning going on as Max looks forward, gets the cask, but there's enough dashes on the side of PCE that they're able to escape that one. Good charm onto Paragon, though, sets that one up nicely. A little chunk onto the ADC, but he's got some fruit. It tastes like honey, apparently. Allegedly.
Yeah, I've never tried it myself, but I've never heard any complaints.
Yeah, still. Oh, Simon was trying to ward, and he drops the Rift Herald. That's a little unfortunate, but God, the Udyr R, I don't know what you call it. The
empowered R.
R.
Yeah.
Just kind of chasing everyone down. like 2 of those chunked all the way through Mask Zero and meant that he can't really engage in this fight. Instead, it's going to be the mid lane tower. Paragon gets really chunked by Sanctus. He's in a lot of trouble right now. Hoarder's going to step in his way, but the flash forward from Nuna with the blood in his eyes. Nuna, support after my own heart. The dragon does go over to Simon. I thought that they had that secured long ago, but instead we've rotated back around toward mid lane. You lose 2 kills in the process. This is very messy from RotM. Especially as clean and precise as we've seen the past couple of weeks in ACL, this is very out of character, I want to say, from Return to the Middle Sticks, and something I'm sure Schneider's going to have words about with the team.
I mean, it sort of feels like they're swinging for a home run on every play, pretty much. Which, I mean, there's a time and place for that. I just don't feel like you're that far down to be playing that desperate. I don't know if desperate's really the right word for it, but that's the vibe that I get from some of these plays.
I don't mean to laugh over your very serious comment. I'm sorry. That was a silly little moment from Cloud and Sanctus.
Oh no, not at all.
I'm glad there's somebody else who uses that charging Bard emote as much as I do. That's an appropriate application of that emote. It's like a top 2 or top 3 emote, IMO. Silver Shakes is aware that Hoarder is there.
We're getting the Baron posture vision dance, but I don't know how likely it is that PCE actually pulls the trigger on that. That their team doesn't exactly take Baron quickly.
Yeah, they have the multiple damage dealers to do it quickly, but none of them are like specifically good at it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if everybody's on it, it's not like it won't drop. They don't really have like a hyper tank. Everybody hits, but
that was potentially the most useless barrel that Max has ever thrown, by the way. That Q was just perfectly nestled in well, this followed up by a very good one. Coin flips up, looks forward. They're able to assassinate Cloud. Now the teleport coming in on top of Tibbers. Simon is also here. Nuna with a nice little dash over the wall along with Zero, but the re-engage from Hoarder. Can they actually track down any of these kills? Hoarder walking in, but he doesn't have Counter-Strike available. Now pops the ult, starting to get some damage down onto Zero. Nuna's very low underneath tower. They've cornered the Rakan, which isn't the big target at the end of that one, but they'll take it nonetheless. And RTM picks up 2 kills? Only 2, because there's Sanctus is back alive. Back alive, back in the fray. I'm very tired. I'm sorry.
It's 2 for just about. Well, it's actually only 2 ults. They've still got the Featherstorm. Tibbers is now, well, Tibbers is still up. It's not going to be long before that cooldown's.
Hoarder dies. Now they're collapsing in on the Baron. 2 kills immediately for PCE. Simon just trying to fight his way out. Baron is regened already, so not going to see that one immediately. And it gets completely flipped by PCE. What a great collapse by them. Coin flip Sup now looking in, but Max with a huge damage, just not quite enough to finish anyone off. And now it's Coin flip Sup versus the world. Can he get in there with Tibbers? He's going to have it up in just a couple of seconds. Does he stick around? They have to know that he's up there. Mask Zero is so low, he can't stick around. Cloud is so low. Can he do this one?
He knows.
Hex Flash over. In comes Coin flips up. Oh, he drops Tibbers, but it doesn't hit anyone. The Baron goes over to PCE. Tibbers might kill Cloud. No, he can't even finish that one off. It's a disaster for Coin flips up, and the Baron goes to PCE.
What a tragedy. Everything goes so poorly there. And yeah, I mean now we're entering the same post mid game phase. Not quite late game, I would say, but first Baron over to the side of PCE. They've definitely got a pretty good hold on the game. Just about 6.5k ahead. They're not leading the dragon race this time, although they might be tied up here in a couple of seconds.
Yeah,
Simon? He's fine.
tried to walk in. Oh,
He
Paragon
run.
gets spotted? No, he didn't get spotted. Maybe he's fine. Very worried about these boys right now as they're trying to walk into this bear inside jungle, but PCE doing a good job of forcing them out. And now with the dragon spawned, they'll peel back and secure it. Well, what's the play here if you're RotM?
Yeah, post up, be sad, try again when Baron wears off, because you don't exactly want to be fighting into that. You don't have a particularly high track record of winning these engagements when your opponent doesn't have Baron buff. I think seed all outer towers and try to fight at an inhib. You've got tools for that, like Cask and Tibbers.
Yeah, PCE just Shreliuses their way into one inhibitor very quickly. They don't have another minion wave right now, so that's a work in progress. Oh, but they're baiting just out of vision? Does RTM walk in?
I feel like
They're
there's
trying
no
to walk
way,
in.
right?
Yeah, Max is trying. Oh, the charm lands onto Simon. That might be enough to just end the game straight up. The flash in there, get the knock up onto Paragon. They'll kill Ari with the burn from Udyr? That's kind of gross, but doesn't really deter PCE right now. They have no Ari, but Hoarder looks for the engage. He finds nothing. He gets only the Wukong clone for his trouble, and it's gonna be the end of game 2 here before too long. Coin flips up is down. It's a double kill for Mask Zero, and PCE with a, I don't want to say a pretty big upset, but in terms of the skill ranking and the disparity there, it's a really big win for them to pick up. Nicely done by PCE, and RTM now maybe a little bit back to the drawing board as they fall to 2-2 on the season.
Yeah, two very, very clean games out of PCE there. It feels like they just had the correct answer in basically every team fight that happened. If you want to call them team fights, the way these the way these engagements panned out, straight up 5v5s were kind of a rarity in both games.
Yeah, two very strange games. That's kind of where I'll leave it, unfortunately, because I don't have the rank or the brain power to try to pick that one apart. Unfortunately, that's going to be Snyder's job now to piece apart and try to see where our TM can build from now, because that's not a great game from Return of the Middle Sticks premiere, and we'll have to see what they look like next week. Next week is a cross group game. We're playing UCI Varsity, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. No, we're playing Bastion Esports. I don't know who that is. Are they good? They're 0-3.
I have
All
no
right.
idea.
Well, maybe it's a get right week for RTM next week, looking at Bastion Esports coming up. But that's gonna end it for the cast tonight. You have anything you want to add?
Nope. No,
Okay.
I'm good.
Go watch Aegis, and we'll see you here next week. Bye. Oh, we had 3 viewers. And the big POG numbers. People already left.
Well, I feel like I did an admirable